Welcome into the 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr. So much to get to here on the show. We have some bad news for a standout young wide receiver on this Niners offense. Do we have return dates for Brandon Aiyuk and Malik Mustapha for when they're going to make their debuts here during the 2025 season? More Niners injury news to get to. And could a surprise rookie who's really come out of nowhere to impress this team and this coaching staff start for San Francisco on the defensive side of the ball? Before we get to all of that, on Saturday, preseason game number 2, Niners-Raiders. They do have a joint practice this week as well, and this has always been a fantastic rivalry because these two teams used to duke it out in the Bay. The Niners, always faithful to the Bay. The Raiders, never faithful to the Bay. Left Oakland for LA, went back to Oakland, now in Las Vegas, and so what I want to do is a sub-battle. Since we flipped the page to August 1st, the Raiders Report, with about 200,000 subscribers here at Chat Sports, has gained 739 new subscribers. The 49ers Report doing well, but we're 198 people away from tying that number. If you want Niners coverage every single day year-round and you want to rack up a W here at Chat Sports, lock us in, hit that subscribe button, and let's take down that very sore loser organization that hasn't won anything in a very, very long time. All right, let's begin with this. The 49ers might have the worst injury luck in all of professional sports. I'm not kidding. Every year since Kyle Shanahan was hired, back in 2017, the Niners have been top 10 in injury rate outside of 2023 when they were the 4th healthiest team in the NFL, and we know what happened. They came within a few plays of winning the Super Bowl. And you're thinking, coming out of that preseason game, man, Jordan Watkins, the rookie, he's for real. The 4th-round pick who runs 4.3, can track the ball very well, is trending in a way where he could be an impact player for this Niners offense in Week 1 and for the 2025 season. Doesn't look as though that's going to happen because Watkins in that game suffered an ankle injury, didn't feel soreness until the next day, and he has been diagnosed with a high ankle sprain. He is going to be out at least a month, and now his start to his rookie year for Week 1 is now in jeopardy. Probably not going to be available for the start of the season. It's hard to quantify how the Niners have suffered from so many injury issues since Shanahan took this job in 2017. I get it. This offense is very physical. The Niners as a team play a brute physical type of style. But my goodness, they cannot escape the injury bug. Last year, they were the number 1 most injured team in all of football. And now it looks like they're off to, once again, being the most injured team in football. So Watkins, now expected to be out a month. You suffer another injury to this wide receiver position. He had a great spring and a great summer. He had been balling out since the moment that the Niners drafted him. He was one of the big bright spots for San Francisco in that preseason opener against Denver. And in classic Niners fashion, wakes up the next day and he's like, my ankle is really sore. Goes to the medical staff and they say, you have a high ankle sprain. Now you're out for a month and you're probably not going to be available for the start of the 2025 campaign. You can't make it up. This is a nightmare for San Francisco. And going back to that play, the 50-yarder on the opening drive from Mac Jones to Jordan Watkins. Keep in mind, Niners 2s on offense against the Broncos 1s. This is a Denver team that was one of the top defenses in the NFL last year, and the Niners marched right down the field. And that drive was highlighted by this play. Down in distance, 3rd and 5. San Francisco with the ball at their own 34-yard line. You see Mac Jones in the shotgun, and then Jordan Watkins in the slot is circled. And I want you to look at where Watkins is when Mac Jones releases this ball with this next photo here. Jones is in the pocket. I really like how he hung tough in the pocket there because there was a defender who kind of fell at his feet. But Jones made a quick read, made the right decision, and threw an accurate ball downfield. But as you can see right here, it's not like Jordan Watkins has a lot of separation. And as we flip to the next photo here, still no separation. This is a 50-50 contested catch. But here's the thing with Watkins. He's not just a speedster. He ran 4.3 in the pre-draft process. He can fly, but he tracks the ball in the air extremely well. He also has a very strong lower half, allowing him to pick up yards after contact, but he does have some physicality to his game. And here at the catch point, he's able to go up and get it, take that ball away from the DB after running that slot fade, and then he picked up yards after the catch and got the Niners inside the red zone. Guess who made the touchdown-saving tackle there? Former Niner, Talanoa Hufanga. And with Watkins, that speed element alongside Jacob Cowing, who runs 4.4, Isaac Guerendo, who runs 4.3. I was so excited to see some of these young players with a lot of juice impacting this Niners offensive unit this year. Unfortunately, of course, we're going to have to wait to see when Watkins can play for the Niners and what type of role he's going to have, because this is a player who's still young, he's still inexperienced. In Kyle Shanahan's playbook, wide receivers have about 100 or so different routes they have to learn. That's why it's so hard for these wide receivers as young players to be impact guys in Kyle Shanahan's offense, because while he made that 50-yard reception, what happened moments later? He ran the wrong route, and a lazy route that then led to a Mac Jones interception. And so Kyle Shanahan said he did some good, he did some bad, he had a classic rookie performance, but this was a player who, if he got more reps, got more snaps, was trending toward being a role player and a factor for this Niners offense at the start of the season. Now that might have to wait, and with him missing so much time, how much is that going to keep him behind the learning curve for where it's going to impact his playing status for his entire rookie year? That's what sucks about this injury here. And the bad news just keeps rolling in for San Francisco. And I alluded to this earlier, but this is insane. This is the Niners' player health by year. And now Watkins going to be behind the 8 ball. 2025, we'll see. But so far, they have to be the most injured team throughout training camp. Last year in 2024, 6-11 season, they were marred by injuries. Number 1 most injured team in football. I mentioned 2023, they stayed healthy, should have won the Super Bowl. But in 2022, 9th most injured team. 2021, 3rd most injured team. 2020, number 1 most injured team. 2019, 6th most injured team. 2018, 4th most injured team. Oh yeah, and when Shanahan took the job in 2017, they were also top 10 in injury rate. Now, it's not all bad news. Jacob Cowing, who runs at 4.4, who had a great spring, who on the first day of training camp running against air pulled his hamstring, is going to return to practice tomorrow as I record this show on Monday, August 11th. Renardo Green, the stud young corner who's going to start outside opposite of Diamador Lenore, expected to return at some point this week. Target date is hopefully Thursday because of his hamstring injury. Of course, he had a great practice the day that he got hurt with 3 pass breakups. Then he tweaked his hammy. Marques Sigle, standout rookie safety, back today. Had a knee bruise from that Saturday preseason tilt against Denver. Mykel Williams did not participate in practice today. Hyperextended his knee. Could be out about a week from when he suffered that injury last Thursday. Upton Stout also did not practice today because of a calf. These players did return today. Safety Jair Brown with the ankle probably feels some pressure as far as the competition goes at that safety position. Evan Anderson back from that groin injury. Andre Dillard making his training camp debut. He's probably the best option for backup offensive tackle. He had an ankle cleanup procedure this offseason. And then Tatum Bethune, who I think can play and be the backup middle linebacker behind Fred Warner, back today as well after suffering that ankle injury against the Broncos as well. Brandon Aiyuk, injury update on this front. So he's not going to be ready for week 1. Never thought it was realistic that he was going to be ready for week 1. Kyle Shanahan saying today that Aiyuk is most likely going to start the year on PUP, but a return around week 6 is possible. So as we look ahead, I would say that's a pretty good timeline there for Aiyuk. He got hurt October 20th of last year, so that would be right in that range of when Aiyuk would come back, trying to return off that ACL, MCL surgery, where he also had other structural damage in that knee when he took that awful hit against the Kansas City Chiefs. Same could be said for Malik Mustapha, who in the regular season finale, injured an ACL that he hurt in college while at Wake Forest when he had to get an ACL repair then. The graft was then injured in Week 18 against Arizona when he took a cleat to his knee. And the Niners thought when he left the game in week 18, he was going to be okay. Then an MRI revealed that there was damage to that ACL. And so after the year, Malik Mustapha, a standout safety for this team, as a rookie 4th-round pick out of Wake Forest, did have to go under the knife and get some surgery. And so he's targeting around that same return timeline that Aiyuk is. Let's round out with this. Could a surprise Niners rookie from this 2025 draft class start for this Niners defense this season? We're talking about 5th-round pick Marques Sigle, who really popped against the Denver Broncos. He was flying around, making plays all over the yard, and he is a very fascinating player. In the pre-draft process coming out of Kansas State, he clocked a 4.37 40-yard dash. At 5 yards on that 40, he reached 15.13 miles per hour, fastest among all players at the combine. He is a former cornerback, and it shows with that smooth pedal that he has, which really helps him in coverage. He's also a very smart player as far as diagnosing skills. But he did not commit a penalty all of 2024, and he's very rangy against the run and against the pass, and he uses that speed to be a playmaker. The North Dakota State transfer ended up turning into a really good player at Kansas State. He also has some positional versatility where he can play safety and he can play some nickel corner. And here's what Kyle Shanahan said about Seagull starting as a rookie. Yeah, I'd say he has a chance. There's a lot of open competition there. I thought he had a real good game on special teams and on defense. I wouldn't rule him out for that. Wow. Marques Sigle impressing this Niners coaching staff, and he impressed me as one of my biggest winners on Saturday night. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here. I always have you covered with daily Niners coverage on non-live days during the week. I'm giving you multiple long-form shows every single day, and you don't want to miss it.